Here, I'm with Attorney Rosenberg. As many of you know, September 6th, I went to a protest at the Sheriff's Department in Inglewood, off Imperial. And at some point, the sheriffs said that there was an unlawful assembly. And at the same time, they were shooting things that, were causing us to cough, our eyes to water, just to be in fear. So someone let us in their home. And at some point, as time went, I figured I could go to my car, go home. And on my way to the car, that's when the sheriff stopped me, and Sergeant Moeller was there. And that's when I had the dialogue with him. He said something like, sit there. He said something like, I'm not going to arrest you. And as time went, he seemed to even confirm that my car was just behind him. I was alone. I was holding two signs that said, I am media and always film the police. And I had my phone, I had my keys in my wallet. And soon after, he asked me what my name was. And when I didn't respond, he said I failed his attitude test. Punching back.
No, that's when you got grabbed.
That's when I got grabbed, absolutely. Right. When I didn't answer his attitude test, it seemed like that was the reason I was being arrested. I didn't answer, my name. And so at that time, they hit my phone out of my hands. It went to the ground. They started stepping on it. And one of the officers picked it up, and I was taken by two officers, and I was walked literally across the street to the jail where I spent the night. And one of the officers walking me was holding the phone. And he was actually turning the phone off, and I had this dialogue with him saying, please don't turn my phone off. He said, I'm turning it off so that it has battery when you get out of jail. That's what he said. And, I said, please don't turn it off. He did anyway. When I got out of jail the next day, they gave me a slip to sign and look over regarding my property. And at that time, I'm wanting to get out. It's not a time I'm wanting to discuss things. I'm not wanting to, it's like they give me a piece of paper, they say sign it. And I noticed, though, it didn't have a jacket, which, was something I was wearing at the time, which was obvious. There's no jacket. It's a big thing. So I wrote jacket on it. They were obviously annoyed and saying, like, do I want to stay there longer? They took the paper away. And when I looked at what was given back, my wallet was there, my key was there, but my phone was not. And so they had taken this paper away without me acknowledging really a phone was even written down, and no phone was in my hand. I asked if I could get my phone back in that time. They said no. And that was over 6 months ago. There's over 40 people that have been arrested in similar circumstances, I believe, like mine, whose phones were also taken away, and they don't have it. And, Attorney Rosenberg, he was able to get the phone back. And I'm so thankful for him. I want to have him explain, what he had to do to get the phone back. And yeah, we're so thankful for you. And then we want to turn the phone on. And this is how he received it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the case looks like it was upside down. And yeah, if you want to share.
So Senate posted the encounter with the sheriffs, ultimately leading to his arrest, that was live streamed. Some of the followers were able to screen record it, so it was captured, which is very critical. The first step in a situation like this, Senate posted bail, so he had a booking number, and that means they took his picture. They set bail, which a lot of people should have been released OR. So the first step is contact the sheriff with the name of the client, date of birth, and booking number, and then find out who is the assigned detective. So we got a file number, which in LAPD is called the DR number, same idea. So the next step is to contact them, which I did, and I requested that this property be released. It has an evidence hold. What is the evidentiary value of the cell phone when first of all it was all captured on video anyway, and it was an unlawful assembly, a type of an arrest, so it wasn't clear what would be on the phone that would be of investigative value. And I made that request. I also made the request, same request, for his jacket. So I ended up over the course of several months contacting the detectives about 4 or 5 times via fax, via phone, several phone calls. And it ended up that I appeared in court in January, having written a letter to the Compton District Attorney's Office imploring them not to file misdemeanor charges, essentially in the realm of unlawful assembly, participating in a rout or a riot, and failing to disperse from an unlawful assembly, which was the peaceful protests in front of the South LA station. And so no charges were filed, which we obviously anticipated, and there were several other arrestees who did not have any case filed. These are 180-day maximum misdemeanors. However, somebody could end up on probation, and importantly, if somebody were to apply for a media permit, this could count against them, especially with a conviction. So no charges filed. What's the evidentiary? Well, in January, no charges filed. So again, what is the case that's being investigated to justify the evidentiary hold? So we persisted. Senate pushed on his lawyer, so I persisted and ultimately got contacted from the second assigned detective, who said, basically, Rosenberg, your client's property will be available for pickup. So what we didn't know is that they had shipped the property out to their central property division in Whittier, and I actually expected it would be at South LA Station. So we had to do several rounds of communication to get me listed as the owner of the property so that I could pick it up on Senate's behalf. So I did that last Friday, and we did a post on that. But what we haven't done is actually see the condition of the phone. I powered it off. So here's the unboxing moment. And a lot of people are concerned, what's on the phone? Does it have a tracker? Does it have a bug? So here we are in real time, unboxing the phone.
Yeah, let me see if I could put that here. Let me know if the audio, something goes wrong with it, but, so let's see, we'll take this case off. Okay. It looks like they've put the SIM card and attached it on the back. So I suppose we should.
Yeah, what does that mean? I'm not sure why they popped it out. If they do an extraction, typically it seems that they do it using the phone device itself, unless they do a physical extraction, in which case they actually destroy.
Do you have a paper clip
circuits
by chance?
Yeah, I have one actually. I use it somewhere over here.
So we'll see. Because yeah, I know turning on a phone without a SIM card typically just tells you to put the SIM card in. So I think we'll wait. Yeah, people say they don't trust the phone.
No, I always have one here. Just give me 1 second.
Oh, no problem. So to get this phone back, just so people understand, this took multiple phone calls, emails, faxes. Is that correct?
Yeah, and the sheriffs kept saying, when I requested the release of the property, well, that's not going to happen. And I was
Do you
told
mind
that
sharing
more than once.
Do you mind sharing the names of?
Well, okay, so for
you know.
for our file number, it was assigned to Detective Bedrio as well as Detective Lesbron, and it ended up that the latter law enforcement officer was the one who processed the release. So Senate had mentioned that there are 40 to 50 other people whose property is booked and not released. We are informed by the National Lawyers Guild that there's one other journalism student whose property phone has been released. We're also informed that student, I think, gave a statement to Max Huntsman, who's the Office of Inspector General, that wrote a report about the sheriff. So could be the squeaky wheel has resulted in the return of the property, but to our knowledge, a federal judge denied the request from the National Lawyers Guild to release the confiscated property from the September protests. And the statute of limitations for this kind of misdemeanor is 1 year. So technically, they have until September 5th, 2021 to file charges, which we don't anticipate. And back to the unboxing here.
So here we go. iPhone has not been backed up.
Mm-hmm.
What does it say?
So is it
in 4
airplane?
weeks. It says in 4 weeks. It is in airplane mode.
It is?
It is in airplane mode.
Okay, well that's interesting.
Hold on, let's just we're also doing a recording over here just for let's just make sure we get that. So it is in airplane mode.
Okay.
I was told specifically, right? We were specifically discussing, and before I even swipe right or see what happens next, I just want to make one thing clear. I was live streaming, right? I was live streaming on Instagram in a place that I was not connected to a Wi-Fi network. I was using my cell reception, right? My 5G or whatever it might have been, to be connected to that Instagram live. So it's not possible. I guess I say all that to say it's not possible to be Instagram living on airplane mode, especially without being connected to a Wi-Fi network. I know for sure then it's not feasible. And
you want me to explain what
please do.
Possible significance of that?
Please.
So I mentioned a cell phone extraction, and I read reports where the law enforcement operator will say, I put the device in airplane mode. Device means phone. I put it in a Faraday cage, which means it can't get any signal. And then I hooked it up to the Celebrite equipment, and then I started the extraction. So I mentioned, let's see if it's in airplane mode, which could be an indicator that there was an extraction done. Was there an extraction? I don't know. That would require a separate search warrant. And if there's no case filed, then there's no evidence turned over to us. So we might never know if there was an extraction performed or not. So that's the significance of the airplane mode potential indicator of an extraction.
Also, I just want to note something that I don't typically experience, and I'll show my other phone. If you see here, Attorney Rosenberg, see how the phone, it's not clickable? Do you see that? And if I show you this phone, see how I can swipe right and I don't know, it doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem to let you use the camera, which it used to. If you go here, the swipe right goes to the camera. This, it doesn't seem to be letting you. I don't know, I'm just showing what I'm experiencing, right? I mean, anyways, I will unlock the phone now.
Yeah, when was it last backed up? Because why would it be backing up and telling you 4 weeks ago when it's been presumably
Let me
sitting
screenshot
in
that
evidence
again.
for 6
Oh wait,
months?
it's not ready. Let me actually just take a photo to document that, like this, right? That's a incredibly good point. That it is saying something about the iPhone hasn't been backed up in 4 weeks, period. Backups happen when this phone is connected to power, locked, and on Wi-Fi.
I would have expected something more like 5 months, 6 months, perhaps.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, that's strange. All right, well, I will swipe right. Password. So what's interesting too is I just got the password wrong twice because I have since changed my passwords, of course. And getting the password wrong just twice resulted in the iPhone being disabled for 1 minute. So I just got the password wrong twice, and it's saying it's disabled for 1 minute, which will be a little challenging to get.
Do you think that means anything, or is that just
that
what
means
we
something.
would expect?
That means something.
Does that mean there were
Because
prior attempts?
let me show you. Yeah, and let's do it right here on another phone, right? So I'm gonna do, boom, 1 attempt. It just did that. Second attempt, right? Okay. Third attempt. Fourth attempt. Fifth attempt. It's still allowing me to type it in, right? Sixth, seventh.
I think
eighth,
it's 10 when
ninth,
something happens, right?
10th. Interesting. Maybe this phone doesn't have that. Huh.
Well, if there's any Cellbrite
It's more
operators
than-
out there,
Yeah, I know it's more than 2.
make a comment.
I know you get more than 2 tries, typically. No. The worst part is I should start writing down what passwords I'm trying.
Yeah, there's a
Hey.
pad over there.
Where?
You can use that pad.
Can I just take
Yeah,
a
just
picture?
bring the whole pad.
Oh, cool. Well, this I don't actually want.
You can write on this one.
All right. Well,
So while you're doing that, maybe we'll talk about the jacket, because it is a custom jacket, and I was surprised. Well, we were kind of surprised that it was returned.
yeah. I mean, I was
Intact.
surprised. I should say I was surprised it was taken. Right. I mean, it shouldn't have been taken. This is the jacket, and it was given by someone in the Mr. Checkpoint community who felt like there's times I'm out there, protest or whatever, and wanted to give me something with some protection, padding.
So what's in there?
It's I don't know the exact name, to be honest, but it's enough to protect you from a knife or,
I think it's Kevlar paneling with some cushioning.
Yeah, it's Kevlar.
And it's the sucker is heavy. I'll tell you that.
It's heavy, it's thick, it's on the back. It's supposed to protect your organs and the main things. When I was booked, they did unzip this and rip out all the panels, and were throwing all the panels on the ground. And yeah, so these were the 2 things that they've really been holding. But yeah, it is intact. The Kevlar panels are inside. The phone's going to be a tricky situation because where we're at now is I've gotten the password wrong 3 times. And on the 3rd time, it's locked it now for 5 minutes. And if I get it wrong this next time, it's going to lock it maybe for 10 minutes, 15. So I'm going to start writing down the various passwords it could potentially be. I guess one thing I'd like to discuss is for people, if someone's out there and they're watching and the sheriffs have their phone, right? What's something they can do? Is there a way even we can use this as an example, right? Or what way can we say and really use this and be like, look, here's these 2 people, you took their phones, this is why, this was the circumstances, you've released those phones. Why can't you release it from everybody else that you have? And the one thing I just feel like is if my phone was somehow sensitive, maybe because of Checkpoint or something, it's certain these other phones don't have that sensitivity, right? I mean, unlikely.
So here's kind of the action plan again is booking number, name of defendant, date of birth, find the file number for the sheriff. With that, find out the investigating detectives who are deciding whether to present the case or not. And that's the person that you would contact. I do recommend having an attorney make that contact. Number one is it limits the interaction between a potential defendant arrestee with the investigating officers, right? So you have a third party who's an attorney.
Yeah.
What I say doesn't mean that my client said it. And then the issue that we had was they kept saying, well, the case hasn't been presented yet. The case hasn't been presented yet. And it's not every day in my career that I say, well, please present the case. But in this case, we wanted to know yay or nay, are they going to present the case? And is the district attorney's office going to file it? So in our situation, we were able to get the detective to release the information subject to an evidence hold. But once again, the district attorney's office does have 1 year to file charges. And that was kind of the tug of war. So that would be the action plan. The NLG went into federal court, I'm presuming, as a deprivation of civil rights, seeking an injunction to force the sheriff to release this property. And we spoke with the NLG attorney involved, and she said, we lost in federal court. And part of the argument was the sheriff said, well, look, we've got 1 year to complete our investigation, so it has evidentiary value. So we used a different approach rather than go through the courts. I was able to demonstrate, presumably, that there was no evidentiary value, no case would be filed. So that would be the action plan. And there's other items of property too that were booked into evidence on behalf of different people, clothing, backpacks.
And I understand that NLG did get someone's car back. There was someone's like truck that was used, but I don't believe they've been able to get any of the phones in particular back. And I'll say that Attorney Rosenberg, I mean, he's very humble and whatever, but he was literally giving an outline and a plan of attack that he's used. And I mean, they were so thankful for his time because, and I know there's people literally in here because I see them commenting.
I can't see from here.
They have like there's people watching and the sheriffs have their phones. I would definitely say DM you, right? I mean, is that something that's like possible? Yeah. Attorney Rosenberg, I put it in the, it should be in there. Let me double check.
Yeah, at Attorney Rosenberg. I do check my DMs.
Yes.
I check them all day, answer questions pretty much all day.
Are you confident you could get other people's phones back, or?
I can tell you I know the process, and I can tell you that the chances are good it's the same investigating detectives. I can't offer any guarantees. Every fact pattern is different. And one thing I think that is really important in Sennett's case, and you can see this on the video, is that he's the only person there on the entire block.
I'm in. Oh, wait,
you're
this
in.
is, wait. Wrong phone.
Yeah.
My
That
apologies.
has the black and
yes,
white.
my apologies.
So he's the only one on the sidewalk, and the next closest person is hundreds of feet away. So my position is, assuming they declared an unlawful assembly at some point, he's all alone. So he's not assembling with anybody. He's trying to get back to his car. The sheriffs are positioned in front of his car, and he's saying, hey, I want to leave. I just want to get into my car. And what can I do? So I think that was part of the reason that his property, I'm assuming, was released, is that I don't think that, even though he was booked on that charge, I don't foresee anybody filing that and prosecuting that.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, you're amazing. I mean, do you think though that getting the phone back had to do with that specifically, or no, not necessarily, right? Like,
so
if I was arrested, they just pretend I'm in the crowd and I'm like just,
Mhm.
you know, right at the crux of whatever it could have been, would they then have the right to hold the phone, or would you be able to work the same process in getting it back?
Again, I think the same issues are present, and that is assuming there is some reason to believe probable cause, there's an unlawful assembly, failure to disperse, etc. How does the phone contribute to that? And then I should note, we didn't mention it, but the officers actually had helmet
This
camera.
I haven't shared.
So, oh, I don't want to.
No, this
okay,
is good.
so you have Senate filming this way, and officers are filming that way. So, in other words, the officers had evidence that they could have relied upon in formulating their theory of the case. So, I think that it certainly can apply. I think in Senate's case, I was able to be the squeaky wheel, and to some extent, I think that that was part of our success.
Yes, well, you made this very successful, and I'm so thankful. I mean, we're kind of at a standstill specifically with the phone because I've gotten the password wrong maybe 5 or 6 times at this point, and now it's locked. Like I said, it'll keep increasing, so now it's locked for 15 minutes.
But I don't know, and again, I'm not in law enforcement, I don't process evidence, but I'm not entirely clear on why the SIM card would be removed. So maybe somebody has a comment
They do.
out there about that. I literally can't see it without
Let's
my
see if we can go live with them.
Mhm.
I don't know, and I'm not. If you can't go live now, oh, wow. So this is who it is. He's probably not going to show his face. How you doing? Yo,
Hey,
how are you?
good man. Good to see you.
Good seeing you. Can you share like who you are and what, you know, the comment you might have?
Yeah, absolutely. So Sen and I met not too long ago. Up until about a month ago, was a police officer for over 12 years in Oakland and San Francisco. Everything the attorney is saying is spot on. I do have more to add in terms of some of the intricacies, and I had no doubt that the attorney was right. He's the man. If you guys don't follow him online, you need to. Really good info there. Sent you as well, Mr. Checkpoint. But I absolutely think we could do a video about evidentiary value of the phone and arrest procedures, etc., as it pertains to protests.
Can you share specifically though regarding the SIM card being out and what that might mean, and you
In
know,
airplane mode.
and it being on airplane mode, and my phone really, I'm not able to get into it because it's disabled. Is this a worry? Should I not have it around me in the car? What are your thoughts?
Airplane mode is for several reasons. What they might say is that it's because they don't want you going into the phone remotely and removing any sort of evidentiary value, right? But also because it could prolong. So if you don't do that and they do want to dump your phone or extract your phone, when I say dump in the comments, it also means extract, same thing the lawyer's saying, so that you can't remotely manipulate that. So, you know, my best guess is that your phone quite possibly could have been dumped, and a public records request for reports written by the investigating officers would be helpful in determining that.
And that's CPRA for people out there who would like to Google it, California Public Records Act.
But not much is saved on the SIM as far as I know, other than like contacts and right? I mean,
But if there's so data is saved on your physical phone,
correct.
and then also on your SIM card, right? So if they wrote a search warrant and that search warrant was granted, first of all, I'd love to read it, but they would cover the data on the physical phone, the hardware itself, and the SIM card, if that makes sense.
Can we find out
why they had to extract it, right? So they can do multiple extractions from the physical phone and from the SIM.
But why would they take the SIM card out from the phone if it's evidence? And is that, to me, that's kind of an intervention. I'm not clear on that.
Right, separating the two, putting in airplane mode, separating the two would preserve it on their end. I mean, it could be a procedural thing. It could be new technology. It could be extracting from the SIM versus extracting actual from the hardware of the phone.
So your guess, did they see what's on the phone?
I think so.
Text
I think it's quite
messages.
possible. Really hard to say. I mean, my best guess, yeah, and I mean, you know, they know who you are, right? Like, so they could have done it for several reasons. They could have articulated it or tried to articulate it for several reasons, right? Maybe they, and this is not my justification of their actions. I'm just telling you what I think is possible they might say, right? So because you're out there filming, and they know who you are, it's quite possible that they wanted to see what's on your phone to compare it to other evidence that they may have or video that they may have, right? So again, I'm not saying that that's right, but I'm saying that that's one possible reason that they may have done that.
Is it possible we find out if they did get a search warrant to go on the phone? Like, we don't know if they did or didn't, if they were granted it or not.
So my experience, and the officer can maybe address it if he's written warrants, I don't know, but my experience...
Former.
Right, former. Well, it's like Mr. President anyways. So is that search warrants have a number and they're filed with law enforcement or the courts, and
Right.
we don't see it unless a case is filed and they use the evidence. So whether that is a public records request, I think they're often
TBD.
considered under seal. So
Right.
um,
But you can still request it, and then you could be,
Mhm.
you know, you could be blocked, and they'll say, hey, this is sealed, we can't give it to you yet. But because, like you mentioned, they have that 1 year, there's very little they have to give up within that 1 year, because they could, you know, it'd still be under investigation or, you know, pending, etc. Right? There's that 1 year timeline. So until that passes, it's going to be pretty easy for them to give up very little information.
And that's why I was hoping that they would present the case, and then I could say, hey, look, this has been formally presented, this has been rejected, so now why are we holding property? And in January when I appeared, I got no case filed. Obviously, we prefer reject. So that's a little backstage about the process that happens, how law enforcement and the prosecutor work.
Absolutely. And then the other possibility, right, is that they put it on airplane mode, removed your SIM card just to do that, pending a search warrant. Maybe that search warrant wasn't granted, and that's just how they left your phone. That's
Right.
a possibility too.
I will say though that I'm very confident to assume that they definitely trying to get in via password, because I've never mistyped a password 2 times, 5 times, 6 times, and I've had it make me wait 15 minutes.
Right.
So there's definitely something there. Whether I can get in through the password or not will be its own thing. I don't know, because I'm putting all the passwords that I imagined it was, they're not working. So I'm like, is it a possibility they like changed the password? Like, I have no idea, but it's all actively
I don't think they can,
No.
but they can circumvent your password using the Celebrite tools, which get updated pretty much, you know, every 3 months. There's always, you know, that's for the code people. That's what they do all day.
So the other thing I want to add, and you mentioned this, but I think it's important for people to understand, is that, you know, when they declared it an unlawful assembly, you're very clearly asking to be allowed to leave, and they need to grant that. And you know, the attorney said it very, very clearly. You were the only one there by yourself, essentially, right? So, I mean, letter of the law, spirit of the law, allow you to leave, asking you to leave. Your car's right there. They made reference to you standing around for like an hour or whatever, but that it wasn't unlawful at that point. And so I think, you know, it's important for people to understand that, you know, you did clearly ask to leave and you were denied that.
Yeah, and the standing around for an hour, I was physically actually on someone's private property for that time. I mean, that literally was a concerned citizen or person of the community who just said, like, come into my home. I mean, didn't know who I was, just said, whoa, come in here, you know, like literally, and gave me water. I mean, and then I went from there to my car. I mean, essentially. So it's like, it's, yeah. And of course, documenting and filming the whole time. I mean, that was, in essence, my purpose as well, to be there, right?
Right.
So,
And there's no law against that.
No, exactly. Well, I thank you so much. We definitely, absolutely have to talk more.
Just real quick, 30
please.
seconds.
Yeah, no.
It's interesting to me that he was not booked on PC 148A1, resist, delay, or obstruct a peace officer, which in theory could have been a better theory for them. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
What
But they
were the charges?
booked him
What was he
on a
booked on?
409.
Sorry, you broke up.
Yeah, they booked him on a 409, unlawful assembly, failure to disperse, but it seems that the sergeant was really more concerned that this was resist, delay, or obstructing a peace officer in the lawful performance, because he took failure to identify Senate, which, you know, everyone presumably knows who he is, which is what you mentioned.
Right. I mean, and that's something that's like
Well,
difficult to prove, right? Like that they know, but I mean, common sense tells you that they do. I mean, I've seen a lot. I mean, bro, you know, we've known each other for a little while. I followed your videos. You know, you ask them, hey, do you know who I am? Oh yeah, I know who you are, et cetera, et cetera. And throughout the law enforcement community, I would bet, you know, that they know who you are, especially when you were arrested.
so right, just to like I just want to ask that more specifically though. You think that Sergeant Moeller knew who I was before?
I think so.
Interesting. And do you have thoughts on that? An opinion
Well,
towards that?
Ever since I stopped being a community organizer, I'm not out in the street, but it appeared to me that Sergeant Mueller was the public information officer and had researched these street assemblies and had been himself at numerous protests. So I would imagine that he might be familiar with my client, who has distinctive logos, etc.
Of course, right. It's the whole, you know, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like the brand, right? Like the Mr. Checkpoint, the orange, the always from the police, like, you know, whether that's your intention or exactly, right? Exactly. And so that's why I think it's pretty reasonable to think that at least some folks know who you are out there.
It's also
again,
on the
that's
phone.
Not criminal.
It's also on the phone, which
Right.
obviously
right.
they saw.
Right. It wouldn't have been hard.
Of the arrest, you know, at least of the arrest report when it comes out.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely keep unpacking this as it goes. I really thank you for joining this piece, though, and sharing. And I want to keep talking with you, though, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. You
All
good,
right. Thank you, G.
See ya.
See ya. So that's
It's interesting because the NLG might have a reason to look at these reports as part of their litigation, because they have an action pending, and they may have the civil rights lawyers can comment on this, but I'm wondering if they have a right of discovery for these incident reports as part of that, because I don't know if it was just a temporary injunction or if the case is closed in its entirety. And that, again, is for the civil rights bar to address.
I think this is good. I mean, I'm thrilled to have the phone back.
Mhm.
Again, I'm super thankful. I was very hesitant and skeptical. I mean, as you've heard, I've made phone calls to the sheriff's department when they've said they didn't even have my belongings. I mean, literally, I was calling evidence who said they had no belongings for me. I did not think I would be getting this phone back.
Yeah, that's another thing. So when that happened, we got the form, which is a claim form, return of missing or damaged property. And I put that in my most recent letter, actually, that nobody would confirm whether they had items, and if they did, what they were. So the last iteration was, we're intending to file that because now we're informed